Hello YouTube, this is my first video ever, and my idea for it was to show you what my first semester in art school was like. I recently joined college. I'm in my first year of art school, and so I thought I would show you what it was like. My name is Renata. I am 18 years old and I am from Portugal, and I also study art in Portugal. I thought I would begin with talking about the classes I'm taking. I had 5 classes, I think. Yeah. And I had digital art. Really just about how to play with the Illustrator and some drawings we did there. I also had bravery, stamping processes. I had linoleum printing and also on metal, but I don't know the name in English. I had drawing class, just as usual. I had art history, which was fun. I love it. And I had painting class, sculpting class, and some class about the composition of pieces of art. To begin, I'm going to show these. These are the prints I did in linoleum and metal. And so the linoleum, I did 2 colors. The second color went wrong, so I went with this drawing. I started to print just one, and it turned out okay. But then we had to add something else and another color, so it would be interesting enough for a professor. And I went with black. I removed all of the part of the drawing I wanted to stay red. For example, the eyes. In the actual linoleum, I don't have it with me right now. I took off everything I wanted to remain red, and so the final result will be something like this. The problem is that none of these final prints turned out okay. All of them are shaky, they're not in place, or they don't have enough ink, so this was not my best work. Moving on, I don't know if I have... Yes, I do. No. This is what I was showing. This is with metal, and this is the drawing. It was a really complicated process, took a really long time. I think I enjoyed this more than linoleum. Just didn't enjoy the process of getting the metal ready. I felt like I was in Breaking Bad or something. Turned out like this. I'm not sure if I like. Okay, now I will talk about what I did in drawing class. We started off the semester with a project on perspective, which I truly despised, and so do all my classmates, because we are not in architecture. It didn't really go very well. I guess I did really improve a lot. I learned all about the rules that I didn't know before, and the improvement really did get a saying in my final grade. Next, we did a project on light and shading. We worked on the contrast between light and darkness, and I drew some paper planes and some origami. I think those went okay, but the work itself, it's really boring, and I did it in high school a lot already, so I didn't really put much effort in it, to be honest. It could have been better. Next, we did a really fun project which I love doing. The goal of the project was to not represent anything, so much like something abstract. We only could play with techniques, the materials we were using, the supplies, also with color, with texture, with line. It was a very open thing, and I really did enjoy it. It was the best work I did in this class all this semester. I think I did really well with my compositions, and my professor said so. I think it turned out pretty good. The next work we did was on, again, light and shade, but this time we drew an object, man-made. I choose this, I don't know the name in English, but it's a tool that my friend had because I forgot my object, so I just stuck with it for the semester, and I enjoyed it. I think I did okay. We used charcoal, some pens, but the goal really was to get good at charcoal. Okay, I think now I will talk about sculpture class. I obviously don't have the sculpture here, it's at school. It's a really big one, like this big, I'd say. It's out of clay, and it's a conch shell, just shell, I don't really know. It's a shell. And I have some pictures, I will put them up in the video too. It was the hardest part of the semester. I spent all my time in the studio. It sucked. It took a lot of me. It was a love-hate relationship, to be honest, but I think the comeback was worth it, even though my professor didn't really like it, but it's okay. And I'm just over it, to be honest. It broke apart while I was sculpting because it was my first time doing this, okay? So I didn't have any knowledge on the sculpting process, and the structure of the shell I made was not big enough or strong enough for all the weight, so it broke down, which was really sad. I was very sad, but I had to keep on working and spend all my free time in there. I'm going to talk about painting class, which I think I did very well. In the painting class we started with, like, we had to work on watercolor and color pencils, and we had this Portuguese artist called Paula Riego, which is a great Portuguese artist, and we had to sort of do our own version of a painting she made, and I think it was fun. I really enjoyed it. I think it's a pleasure to remake something she did. Next, we did a collage. I did a collage, and within the collage we had to paint it like the tones of the collage. So it had to be a very complicated A4 collage, and then paint it in A3 and try to rematch the tones exactly as they are in watercolor. I thought I was going to do really badly, but then I ended up being pretty okay. And to end, we did some other paintings, mini paintings like A5 of other artists, David Hockney, Marlene Dumas and Antonio Cruz. I think I also did nice on this one. I'm pretty familiar with watercolor. Acrylic is what I'm afraid of. I'm going to have it next semester, but I think I did okay with watercolor. Even though acrylic isn't really my best supply, I am trying to practice on it during the break. I think I've been improving quite a lot. Now I'm going to show you my sketchbooks. I have a sketchbook for drawing class and painting and sculpture class. And I'm going to show you what I did. So this is the drawing class sketchbook. I don't have a tripod to put the camera, so it will be like this. I started with the perspective, just some quick sketches. This is when I got better, because I figured it out with this perspective really well. And then I did some with oil pastels, because it's the media I like the most. So I was trying to use a supply I really liked using with a theme of drawing that I hate. I did the same with these markers and this palette of colors. This is my grandma's kitchen, but these are horrible. This one turned okay. It was 30 minutes, that's a long time. So these are the ones I love the most, because I used watercolor and I used the paintbrush as like a pencil, and I think it really did. I really think it turned out very well. I also used some Posca in here. These two, and they're really quick too, and they turned out great. This is where I drew the origami. No paper planes, just these two. And here we start with the project on abstract. Here I didn't have anything in mind. This is crap. This is even the state of the pages. This looks cool, but the idea is too simple. So here I was just experimenting until I got something out of it. So this is where it all started. I really love these drawings. I got too much water on the pages, so it's really falling apart. And that's the draw class sketchbook for the semester. Okay, now I will show you the painting and sculpting class 1, even though it has almost nothing for sculpture, which is a shame. I firstly did these sketches of my shell, but they are really bad because you don't understand the structure of it. This is like a photograph. Then we had to do 3 drawings as homework, 3 paintings without watercolor and color pencils, and the theme was breakfast. So in this one I drew my grandpa in his kitchen. Then I wanted to come out of the box, so I drew a potential breakfast for some hungry kids. This is my grandmother, her sister, and my grandma's sister doctor in the garden. I did this one. This is me and my mother, but I didn't really finish because I didn't like it. This is a sketch for that painting of Paulo Rego. Then I did this one. I used these materials to make it kind of 3D. I don't think I can show this in YouTube. This is a nude sketch and more conch shell. This is my grandmother. This was the sketchbook, the sketch I did for the final project. I did this watercolor of my dog. And lastly, I did this drawing, which is on girlhood, and I did it with acrylic. And that's it. It was a really poor semester for this sketchbook. It's a shame. Okay, thank you guys so much for watching. I know this was a really amateur video. I'm not sure if it was interesting enough for it to be entertained even. It's just my first video. I usually record on TikTok and Instagram, but I want to get better at making YouTube videos. I hope I get better in the future, and I guess I'll keep just improving. But thank you for watching if you did. But thank you and stay tuned. I will start to post more on here, and have a nice day or night.